Okay, let's take a look at the sum of cubes. We've got a binomial and we have a trinomial piece to this, same as we had when we had the difference of cubes. In the first position, we have an A and a B. Copy the sign. For the trinomial part, you've got an A squared. Those together make this cubed. And you have a B squared. And in the middle, you have one of each, an A and a B. In this case, you've got the signs. The first sign is negative. The second is positive. That's the only thing that's kind of glitchy about that, because that's different than the other one that we had. This one was the difference of squares, and in that case, both of those were positive. This time, we've got one of each. All right, so let's put an actual problem into that schematic. We've got, let's take the 8 and actually cube it. What are the factors of 8? 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we've got 3 2's here. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So the 2 cubed is 8. We've got an x term here and a 2. Copy the sign. We've got an x squared and a 2 squared with a 2 and an x in the middle. This is a negative sign. That's a positive. I'm just following my directions here. Next one. Let's factor 64. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So this factor is 4 cubed. We're going to put one of the c's here and one of the 4's here. Copy the sign. Then we're going to do a c squared and a 4 squared with a 4 and a c in the middle, one of each. A negative, a positive. Binomial, trinomial. Factor 27. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So the 3 times 3 times 3. One of the 3's at the front, one of the a's with the positive sign in between. 3 squared goes here, a squared goes there, and then one of each in the middle. A negative sign, a positive sign. And that's it. There, it's factored. If we want to be sure of ourselves, we would have to distribute this back. Let's see how that looks. 3 times 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. Positive times a negative, negative. Negative, 3 times 3 is 9, a. A positive times a positive is a positive, 3 a squared. Done with that. Under. A positive times a positive is a positive. 3 squared is 9a. Positive times a negative is a negative. 3a. So we have a squared. All the way to the back. A positive times a positive is a positive. A times a squared is a cubed. A cubed. This wipes out. This wipes out 27. We have 27 plus a cubed. It matches. This is what we're hoping for. C times c squared is c cubed. A positive times a negative is a negative. Negative 4c squared. Here's a c and here's a c. A positive times a positive is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. C. We're done. Under. A positive times a positive is a positive. 4c squared. A positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times 4 is 16. C. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. A positive times positive is a positive. This one wipes out. This one wipes out. C cubed. C cubed plus 64. Our two-term polynomial is missing some columns. It's jumping from x cubed, x squared, x to the first, x to the 0 power. We do not have these two columns. We just have the x cubed and the plain number column. That's because when we distribute, we have x cubed. Positive times a negative is a negative 2x squared. A positive times a positive is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4x. Done. Under. 2 times x squared is a positive 2x squared. Positive times a negative is a negative. 2 times 2 is 4x. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Positive times a positive is a positive. Positive 8. Cancels. Cancels. X cubed. X cubed plus 8. The sum of cubes. Following the formula, you can't go wrong. And it's a big help when we actually start to use this kind of math, mostly when we multiply and divide fractions that are polynomials.